When it comes to committing a crime, there are no age limits. Sometimes some of the most brutal crimes are done by people of a younger age, that is, teenagers. Let's check out how some of them react after being told of a life sentence. Number 1. Shondell Jackson. A courtroom can occasionally become extremely emotional when a sentence is given, but when Shondell Jackson, 19 years old at the time, heard his punishment, his response was wild. Jackson was found guilty of the first-degree intentional homicide and robbery of Nathan Potter, a student at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee who was 21 years old. Jackson and his friend, 20-year-old Derek Thomas, were making plans to rob Nathan Potter. As Potter was walking to his apartment, they followed him, attacked him, and when they found out he didn't have money with him, they shot him dead. Jackson shown neither regret nor sadness for the victim's passing or his crime during the trial, and worst of all, he even grinned at the victim's family once as he was being led out of the courtroom. Even his mother's reaction was intriguing. She said, "When I saw it on the news, I even cried. I'm like, oh my god, I can't imagine what that mother is going through." She then says, "I never had a clue that my child had anything to do with it. My son is not a monster. He is not a monster." It was only after a while Jackson showed his remorse when he said, "I apologize for my behaviors. Please don't take my life from me." But the judge ended up sentencing him to life in prison without parole. We can then see Jackson growing violent and cursing at the judge. The police had to act on quickly and detained him using pepper spray to control his violence. What's even more crazier is how the rest of his family members turned towards Potter's family and started hurling insults. They exclaimed, I hate you all, and God's the judge," as they walked out of the courtroom. Number 2. Martise Fuller. Meet 15-year-old Martise Fuller, 19 years old as of now, who was charged as an adult for first-degree intentional homicide, attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and armed burglary. He was found guilty of killing Kaylee Juga in Kenosha County, who also happened to be his ex-girlfriend. The teenager also ended up trying to kill Juga's mother, who somehow survived, which led to her identifying him to the police. The mother and daughter came home from school that afternoon, May 9, 2019, and were upstairs in their house when Fuller entered through the open garage. The family was getting ready to go camping. Prosecutors say Juga was listening to music in her bedroom when Fuller snuck in and shot her 5 times. Hearing the noise, her mom rushed to her daughter's bedroom only to find Kylie unresponsive on the floor. Seeing her mom, Matrice ends up shooting her twice. After the jury found Fuller guilty on 3 accounts, he displayed what appeared to be a move for the first time during the trial despite his plea of not guilty. However, the jurors disagreed and they found Fuller guilty of first-degree deliberate homicide. Even while his sentence was going on, Fuller continued to be innocent and even wrote a statement to be read out to everyone. Martise writes, "I wanted to write this, giving my sincerest apologies to this family I once shared time and love with. Truthfully, I am sorry about the pain you've all suffered through, but more importantly, the loss of my ex-girlfriend Kaylee that I loved too. But I have to continue to stand innocent because I am, and I hope you all can eventually see in your hearts that I am not the person the media has made me out to be now." Following this, the judge delivers the sentence. She says, "I don't have any ability to trust that you will never commit these acts again. So, in the interest of protecting the public, acknowledging the seriousness of these acts, the court orders that on count 1 you are sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision." On hearing this, Fuller acts normal and remained in complete silence without showing no remorse.
Mr. Fuller's prepared a statement that he asked that I read on his behalf.
Okay.
Martise writes, "I wanted to write this giving my sincerest apologies to this family I once shared time and love with. Truthfully, I am sorry about the pain you've all suffered through, but more importantly, the loss of my ex-girlfriend Kaylee that I loved too. But I have to continue to stand innocent because I am. And I hope you all can eventually see in your hearts that I am not the person the media has made me out to be."
I don't have any ability to trust that you will never commit these acts again. So in the interest of protecting the public, acknowledging the seriousness of these acts, the court orders that on count 1 you are sentenced to life in prison without eligibility for extended supervision.
Number 3. Dylan Shoemaker. Meet Dylan Shoemaker, who was 16 at the time when he was sentenced to maximum punishment of 25 years of life in prison after he was found guilty of killing his girlfriend's son, the 23-month-old baby named Austin. He acknowledged that he slapped the boy for spitting food, hit the boy's head on the ground while changing his diaper, covered the boy's head with a pillow while he was wailing, and repeatedly struck the boy. Additionally, he asserted that the youngster had once fallen downstairs. He was charged with the murder of the toddler along with the child abuse charges. Shoemaker claimed that he was allegedly attempting to calm the infant's wailing and never intended to harm or kill the child, but the jury didn't believe him. As he enters the courtroom even before the jury starts, he claims to everyone how sorry he is for taking Austin's life. He then says, "I didn't mean to kill Austin. Ashley, I really didn't. Do you think I did this? I didn't mean to hurt him." As he was waiting for the trial, he ended up having a phone call with his mother, which was recorded. The judge then says it out loud. He says,
"In a phone call to your mother from the holding center, you stated," and I got a quote from the court reporter, "I am a 16-year-old blonde. Probably all I have to do is cry in front of the jury, and they're going to feel sorry for me."
I can't take back what was done. I wish I could. I would give my life for Austin.
Perhaps it is at that moment he realized that he shouldn't have committed the crime. Shoemaker then says, "I can't take that what was done. I wish I could. I'll give my life for Austin." However, that didn't convince the judge, and he was sentenced to life in prison for 25 years, which was later changed to a period of 18 years. Number 4. Brandon Spencer. Up next is Brandon Spencer from Los Angeles, who was given a 40-year prison term for a 2012 Halloween party shooting on the University of Southern California campus that left 4 people injured. The Black Student Assembly-sponsored party was attended by roughly 400 individuals. None of the 4 victims or Spencer were USC students. Everyone was scattered when gunshots rang out. Some fled in terror while others hid. According to reports, Spencer tried to flee as well, but he was apprehended by police in a parking lot half a mile away. After being questioned, he was eventually arrested and charged with 4 charges of attempted murder. Fortunately, no one died despite there being 4 injuries. During the trial, the prosecution contended that Spencer was a well-known gang member and that the shooting was the result of a dispute between him and a member of a rival group. "I'm not a bad person, but I made a mistake," Spencer claims. He maintained his innocence throughout the verdict. Through tears, Spencer asked the judge to give him a second chance in life. "I'm sorry for what happened, but I can't spend the rest of my life in prison," Spencer said. "I'm not just some gangbanger that they portrayed me as," he added. However, though he was found guilty, he was sentenced to life in prison for a term of 40 years. Poor Spencer was also seen banging his head on the table as the sentence was going on.
"I'm sorry for what happened to your uncle, but keep your life in prison."
Number 5. Jennifer Mee. And finally, the last on our list is Jennifer Mee, once known as the Hiccup Girl all over the world. Jennifer was yet again blown up in the internet, except this time it was for attempted murder. In 2013, Jennifer Mee was found guilty of first-degree murder and given a life sentence without the possibility of release. Despite not being there at the scene at the time, Jennifer faces the same punishment as the other criminals, who also happens to be her friends under Florida's felony laws. It all took place when Jennifer was selling drugs to a young man named Shannon Griffin along with her boyfriend Laren Ryford and another acquaintance Newton. Things went unfortunate when Ryford and Newton made the decision to rob him instead. Shannon resisted and was repeatedly shot. The 3 of them ended up being arrested the very same day. In a recorded phone call with her mom from the Pinellas County Jail, she explains why she's involved in charge for first-degree murder.
Jennifer Mee, an inmate at Pinellas County Jail.
I got charged for murder in the first degree.
Charged for murder in the first degree?
Yes, sir.
What charges? Who did you kill?
I didn't do nothing. I was just there at the wrong time, at the wrong place.
Hello?
Hi, Mama.
Hello, Jennifer. What's going on?
I'm in jail.
However, the sentence ends with a judge claiming, the jury, having found you guilty of murder in the first degree, Miss Mee, I will adjudicate you guilty and sentence you to life in prison without parole. And that's all for today, fellas. Hope you enjoyed the video.